back at it with another video today, guys, and I just want to say thank you for coming back. Please make sure you hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and all those wonderful things. So today I'm going to be talking about the concept of internalized ableism. There are many definitions, but it's mostly contextualized as the inward permeation of the ideas, thoughts, and attitudes of ableism. This can be more so fleshed out when an individual with a disability perceives themselves as a burden, perceives themselves as less than, and it's usually followed by a series of self-limiting beliefs. So as someone who lives with, a disability and has multiple chronic illnesses, one of the things that I've been more and more aware of as I continue to operate in the spaces of advocacy is how much I myself have internalized ableism. And by that, I mean, I have, been offered, different opportunities. And a lot of the times I will filter my yes or my perception of my ability to fulfill those duties through the lenses of how my symptoms may impact me from moment to moment. And I've just been kind of in this journey of noticing it not just in myself, but in those that I work with. So what does internalized ableism look like? It can have many sneaky faces. One of the main ways that we as people with disabilities internalize ableism is through the notion of feeling like a burden. Whenever I'm talking to someone who doesn't have a disability, I'm literally trying to convey this idea that when you have a disability or chronic illness, it's almost like it's a part of the package deal to feel like you are a burden. And I've seen this, and I've heard, people articulate this, whether they come from a single parent background, higher socioeconomic status, no matter what race, creed, or color, whatever it is, the common denominator is a disability, and with that comes feeling like a burden. And I remember hearing this, multiple times, and even experiencing this as someone with disability and chronic illness. And I just been wondering where in the world that comes from. I talk about my faith on this channel a lot, and one of the things I believe is that God has given people with disabilities and chronic illnesses a unique perspective that the world needs to hear, the world needs to partake in, the world can benefit from. But what happens somewhere along the way, we feel like we are less than because we do not maneuver in this world in a similar fashion to our able-bodied counterparts. Even the idea of normalcy, what does that look like? What does it mean to operate in these spaces and places as if you're normal? And one of the things as a person with a disability I've been thinking about is how I limit myself. If I can do something effectively, whether it be create content, whether it be building relationships, whether it be public speaking, if I am able to do that, no matter how I've adapted that task, that means I'm still getting it done. And we tend to be harder on ourselves, whether or not you have a disability. But imagine living in a world that treats disability and chronic illness as an afterthought, and that feeling of being a burden and a nuisance is compounded. So one of the things that I've just been on a journey of seeking to do is empowering other individuals with disabilities and chronic illnesses to challenge ourselves when we feel like, hey, because this set goal is not going to come into fruition through typical means, how can I maneuver around that? How can I adapt? How can I turn something that I believe I can't do into something that I can do? And even more so as a person of faith, who allows Christ to be the compass which guides me in every facet of my life as a lifestyle, how can I be more sensitive to what God has called me to, so that I am not, just distributing spoons unevenly, distributing my time unevenly and ineffectively? Like, what does it look like to allow God to show you what you're called to do on this earth, regardless of what other people tell you should or shouldn't, or you can or can't do, especially as a person with a disability. So that's just my 2 cents. I think that we as people with disabilities, we shortchange ourselves. And I always believe that, you know, when it comes to inspiring and empowering and equipping people, people will rise to the standard that they are held to. But the world has held us to such a lower standard as people with disabilities because they do not recognize our value at times. But one thing that we have to be aware of is that before we can expect other people to recognize our value, our contributions, and our, you know, place essentially in this world, we have to recognize that we have a valuable set of skills, regardless of limitations, that we have something to offer, and that we are meant to be here, and that we are not burdens, and that we are nuisances. And it's a process, but the beauty of this life is that it's not instantaneous results that bring success or achievement. It's just walking through the journey step by step, moment to moment for many of us. But that's just my 2 cents, guys, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace.